All right, today we're diving into something pretty wild, a full-on rebellion in the world of pure reason. We're talking about a complete shakeup of how we even think about truth. This is the story of intuitionistic logic. But before we get into the weeds, let me ask you something. Think about this for a second. Is a statement true if nobody can actually prove it? I mean, does truth just exist out there like a hidden treasure waiting to be discovered? Or does it need something from us to become real? Hold on to that thought because it's the key to everything we're about to unpack. So, for literally centuries, the world of logic was, well, pretty straightforward. It was a black and white kingdom. Things were either true or they were false, yes or no. This was the undisputed realm of what we call classical logic. It's the system most of us learn in school, and for a very, very long time, nobody really questioned it. And the absolute bedrock of this kingdom? It's a single, powerful rule called the principle of the excluded middle. All it says is this: any statement is either true or false, period. There's no middle ground. It's like flipping a coin, right? It's gonna land on heads or it's gonna land on tails. There's no third option, no hovering in midair, no kinda. But then things started to get interesting. A rebellion started brewing, and it came from a pretty unexpected place, the heart of mathematics. You had these thinkers like L.E.J. Brouwer who started poking holes in this perfect system. They looked at this clean, simple, black and white world and basically said, hang on a second, is it really that simple? And just like that, the Constructivist challenge was born. And this is where everything gets turned upside down. These rebels, they had a radical idea. They said truth isn't something you just find, like an explorer stumbling upon a new island. No, it's something you build, like an engineer constructing a bridge, piece by piece. For them, mathematical reality isn't just out there, it's a creation of our own minds. And that leads to a massive conclusion. For something to be true, you need a constructible proof for it. You can boil this whole shift down to one powerful little phrase: from is to is known. See the difference? It's not enough for something to just be true in some abstract cosmic sense. To call it true, you have to know it's true. You have to be able to show your work, to hold the proof right in your hand, so to speak. Okay, so this creates a really interesting puzzle, right? If truth needs a proof, what about a statement that we haven't proven yet, but we also haven't disproven? Classical logic just kind of shrugs. It doesn't have a box to put that in. But intuitionism? Oh, it has an answer. It introduces a whole new, fascinating category. Let's break it down side by side. The classical view, true or false, that's it. But in the intuitionist view, true really means proven true, and false means proven false. So what happens when you haven't done either? The statement lands in this third state, not yet constructed. It's not true and it's not false. It's just undecided, waiting for a proof. Here's a great way to think about it. Imagine a construction site. In the classical world, you could look at the architectural blueprints and say, yep, the building exists, as an idea, at least. But an intuitionist would walk onto that empty lot, look at the plans and say, nope, not yet. For them, that building only truly exists once the foundation is poured, the walls are actually up, and the roof is on. The act of construction is what makes it real. Okay, so you can see where this is going. If you fundamentally change the definition of truth, it's only a matter of time before you have to change the rules for proving things. And sure enough, this rebellion led to a major rule of classical logic getting tossed right out the window: the law of double negation. So in classical logic, there's this kind of clever trick. If you can prove that a statement is not false or not true, that's the same as proving it's true. It's a shortcut. But the intuitionists said, no way, we're not having that. For them, just showing something isn't false is not good enough. You can't just knock down all the arguments against something and declare victory. You have to build a direct positive case for it. You have to construct the proof from scratch. So this gives us a totally new process for proofs. Here's how it works. Step 1, you take your statement. Step 2, you try to build a constructive proof for it to show it's true. At the same time, step 3, you could also try to find a constructive refutation. Basically, prove that the statement leads to something ridiculous, which would make it false. And if you try both and can't succeed at either one, well, that's step 4. The statement lands smack in the middle, in that undecided state. For now, it's not yet constructed. Now, I know this all might sound super radical, like some fringe philosophical idea. But this wasn't just a fad that disappeared. Over time, these ideas got seriously formalized, they were debated, they were refined, and eventually they earned a totally permanent and respected place in the world of logic. They really did change the entire landscape for good. And it happened surprisingly fast. In the 1920s, you have guys like Kolmogorov adding weight to the critique. Then by 1930, just a few years later, V. Glavenko develops a full-blown formal system for it. He proved that this new logic was just as solid and coherent as the old classical one. It's like the rebellion went from being a fringe movement to a legitimate, recognized government. What this all really comes down to is that intuitionism shattered the idea that logic was this one single black and white thing. It wasn't monolithic. Instead, as the saying goes, it revealed that logic is more like a rich, colored spectrum. There are different tools for different kinds of reasoning. So you might be thinking, okay, that's a cool history lesson, but why does a 100-year-old debate matter today? Well, for a few huge reasons. First, it completely blew up our definition of truth. Second, it gave math a whole new, super rigorous foundation. And maybe most importantly for us today, its ideas have been massively influential in computer science. Think about it. A constructive proof sounds a lot like a computer program, right? A set of steps that builds to a specific result. The connection is huge. And that leaves us with one last big question to chew on. The intuitionists, they applied this strict standard to mathematics. But what if we took that idea and applied it to, well, everything else? If truth really requires a concrete, hold-it-in-your-hands proof, how many of the things we consider truths in our daily lives are really just strongly held beliefs, still waiting for someone to start construction?